Hello, and thank you for listening to The Bows Knows, a podcast about QI Roberts Junior Senior High School in Putnam County, Florida. I'm your host, Mr. Bows, and today we'll be talking about AICE exams, and I've got a couple of special guests with me to share and talk about it. So welcome and thank you for joining me today. Please introduce yourselves to our listeners.
Hi, everyone. My name is Talia Lowe. I'm a senior here at QI.
My name is Miss Bennett, and I am a teacher on special assignment.
I am Mrs. G. Hart, and I am the Cambridge coordinator here at QI.
Very good. Thank you for joining me today. Podcasts start off with the same couple of questions. First one is, what is your favorite subject or topic in school and why?
So my favorite topic or subject in school would probably have to be any type of science field. Right now we're studying AICE biology, and I plan to major in kinesiology at UNF as I go to college, so anything scientific I really love.
Mine is also science. I have a degree in psychology and in science education, and I taught science and biology for a long, long time.
My favorite topic is the students at QI Roberts because they never cease to amaze me. When I was in school, I enjoyed math. That was one of my favorite subjects. But now, the students have definitely taken over my area of interest.
Very good. Next question is, what is your favorite QI story or tradition?
So I think my favorite story, well, maybe not my top favorite, but it's up there, is how a lot of people get ran over by the gator. We love it so much.
I like senior prank day and our pep rallies. I like to see all the kids being themselves and having a good time.
I love to see the Powder Puff game every year because there's just something really enjoyable about seeing our whole student body out on the side of the hill all wearing pink and supporting one another in our school.
Those are some great traditions and a story. If you could have coffee with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
So I actually answered this question in an earlier podcast, and my answer did change, but it's gonna come back to Bruce Willis because I love him so much, and also he had to retire from acting because he had gotten diagnosed with dementia, and I think it's so sad to watch one of the star actors from all time, and he's getting older, and I'm I just want to have coffee with him.
Bruce Willis is a whole solid. I love him. I think if I had to have coffee with someone, it'd probably be my grandparents because I miss them and I haven't, they're not here anymore. So it would be just really great to sit down and be so what you been doing? What's it like?
I believe I would have a nice cold Dr. Pepper with Sean Connery because he's just always been very intriguing to me and I love to hear his voice. And a close second would be Tim Tebow because he is a beautiful person inside and out, and I think that he inspires a lot of young people.
Sean Connery's a solid. Alrighty. So last, before we get to talking about AICE exams, is quality, integrity, respect. Which one and why?
Quality, integrity, and respect, they all line up really good together, and they all have really meaningful significance, but I'd probably say integrity, just because you want to be able to depend on yourself and others, especially being at QY. You have to not only rely on yourself but your peers, as if you work together and whatnot. But with integrity, you're able to know that the people around you are people that will have your back, and as well as yourself.
I have to agree with Talia. Integrity was going to be mine. I think quality, integrity, respect represents our faculty and student body exceptionally well, but integrity to me is the most important part because I can depend on someone, but most importantly, I can trust all aspects of someone, and I'd like someone to be able to give me that same trust in return.
I agree with both of these ladies, but I also believe that respect is definitely up there as well. Respecting one another, respecting yourself, and respecting your environment and your school, and making sure that you are making those quality decisions, and treating everyone with kindness and encouragement.
Oh, very good. And listeners, if you hear any of us laugh, it's because we have a guest in the studio with us today. Owen Bose, the face of the Bose Knows podcast, is with us in studio today. Do you want to say hi to everybody, Owen? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, everybody. Oh, he's going to be shy now. All right, so let's jump in and talk about AICE exams. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, for our listeners that don't know, what does AICE actually stand for?
AICE stands for Advanced International Certificate of Education.
I didn't know that.
No, you know.
So to start out with, let's start off talking about, like, what are AICE exams? We talk about it, we talk about that we have them all the time, but what are they?
Well, AICE exams are kind of the final product that the students strive for throughout their whole time in an AICE course, whether that would be a sit-down test. So some of them are a written exam that the students go into the gym and take an actual paper test, if you will. And then some of the test components are coursework in which students work throughout the school year to create a product. And we ship those off to Cambridge as well over in the UK. And this is how students earn their college credit through the AICE program.
Very good. So for those of our listeners that maybe aren't familiar with AICE exams but are familiar with some of the others, how do AICE exams differ from other exams such as AP or even the EOCs or FAST tests that the students and our listeners might be familiar with?
Well, the EOCs, those are state mandated tests, and with AICE exams, our students actually get to choose whether they take that exam. Now, if they are enrolled in the course, they are expected to take that exam at the end of the year, but our students can choose to come to QI and be a part of the AICE curriculum, and beginning in 10th grade, take those exams. It is similar to AP Advanced Placement in that you do take an exam at the end of the school year to earn college credit, but with the AICE exams, you have a passing score of A, B, C, D, or E, whereas with the AP exams, you have to score a 4, 5, or 6 to get college credit.
Very good. And then last, before we kind of get into a question that more of our guests will be able to talk about in detail, is what are the benefits of taking an AICE exam in general, and then is there any comparison to the benefits of an AICE exam compared to AP?
Well, absolutely. Our students can earn their AICE diploma, and that is a combination of 7 different exams. They pass exams in 4 different subject areas, and if the students pass an exam in the 4 subject areas, along with the core component of global perspectives, then they earn the AICE diploma, and that enables them to earn the Florida Bright Future Scholarship. And so all of their, if they stay within the state of Florida college and university system, they do have all of their tuition paid, as well as $300 towards their books. So overall, AICE does give them an opportunity, regardless of their SAT or ACT score, to earn that Florida Bright Future Scholarship.
That's great. And I think for our listeners, that's very important, because we just got our most recent ACT or SAT scores back. And of our junior class, it was 4 that would have qualified for Bright Futures without the Cambridge diploma. And we're probably going to look at around 90+% of those students being eligible for that Bright Future scholarship.
Yes, we're very proud of our students.
So now, something everybody can weigh in on now. What is the AICE exam like? When you take the exam, what is it like? And Talia, let's start with you. Let's start with the student perspective of what it's like.
So,
as a veteran of many ACE
exams. So, like Ms. Dehart had said, we start our ACE exams in the 10th grade year. And for me, I was really hard on myself to like make sure I studied and whatnot, because you don't really know what to expect for the first time. And God bless Obashata that I passed all 5 of those exams that year. But whenever you do take an ACE exam, it is a bit nerve-wracking because like the question style can be a lot different from what you're used to. Like, let's say the tests or exams you may take in class, like the ACE exams, they have a certain criteria where you have to make sure you explain your thinking, and like since Cambridge comes from like London, the Queen will see it and she wants to know how, you're making these assumptions about a question or whatnot. But really the ACE exams, they're not that bad once you get through it all. And you just have to make sure you're efficient with your work, and you make sure you explain your thinking, and you can back up whatever answer you may have on the test.
And do you feel like all of the exams that you've taken, you've been prepared for?
Yes, God bless, because those tests are a lot. But it really is simple whenever you're able to make sure you're on like your study time, and you know that you'll be confident in yourself to make the right choices during the exam.
Very good. So from the testing administrator side, and proctors, are they proctors for the ACE exams?
There are. If you have 30 students or less, you do not need a proctor, but if you have anything over 30, it's a 1-to-30 ratio for students to invigilators. That's the fancy word.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's what I was looking for. So what is the exam like from your perspectives?
As Talia said, it's definitely a little bit hectic and a little bit stressful in the beginning. It does get easier with time, just as the students feel like they're more prepared and this is not this big scary thing anymore. I like to try to make the students feel calm and relaxed before they line up and they go inside the gym. But there are very strict rules on security.
Hey, don't stick your finger in there.
Oh, no, don't do that. We have a vault that is locked and bolted into our wall with a huge cage around it. The exams, when they arrive, we have to count them, put them in order, put them in the vault, and make sure that they are under secure conditions at all times. We have to transport them down to the gym in a locked cart, and they have to be counted and sealed before they leave the testing room. Lots of rules. As far as even down to a water bottle, if you brought a cup, we have to, if it's not clear, you have to open it and look inside to make sure it's liquid and not all the secret answers to the king's expectations in there.
So, Ms. Bennett, do you have anything to add about what an ACE exam is like, as someone who's often in there or also in charge of running them when we have more than one happening at a time?
I prefer ACE exams to EOC testing because the kids get a chance to give their perspective and supports for their perspective. The things that are different is the testing environment. The students enter the room quietly. They can't have any markings on their snacks and drinks, whereas EOC testing, it's just stick your backpack over there. Here, everything is checked. They have to have their black or blue ink pen. It can't just be random. So while the specifics are a little more detailed before you begin, I think the testing environment is better. The directions are far, far shorter than the EOCs. And the kids seem to use their time really wisely. The timing of the test seems fairly appropriate to give everyone ample time to be successful, but not so much that they have an hour at the end where they are bored or done. So I enjoy testing season, even though it is a lot of hours and steps in the gym.
Yeah, no, one thing that's actually quite ironic about having school administrators in the testing room is the students will start to memorize y'all's script. What y'all have to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, when you take 6 ACE exams and 2 exams each, you're sitting. Which I guess we should probably talk about with ACE exams a little bit, in that. So what makes up? Let's talk about the makeup of ACE exams. I didn't think about that question, but we kind of hinted at it. We should probably talk about it a little bit.
So one big thing about the creation of this test is to what extent. And whenever it comes to that, or any type of hook for the student to know what they need to explain during the question, the test will provide you with figures or tables or any type of graphic that they know you'll need within the question. Or let's say throughout the school year, we'll be prepared with different poems or stories like we are in literature right now, and we'll have to remember them and be sure to memorize them, to use key quotes or figure back to key examples during the text to help answer questions and whatnot.
And I do enjoy the fact that many times on many of the exams, the students have a choice on their topic. So instead of just being this is your one question, it's a do or die on this one, they may have 2 or 3 options, and they can choose the one that they feel most comfortable with. Many of the exams that are more of a writing-based exam, that's the case.
And on our AICE test, we have 8 questions.
Yeah.
Ish. And they are writing, so they are a couple of paragraphs. Some are just one single paragraph answers, whereas in EOCs and FSAs, you have, 60 or so questions that you have to answer in your time frame.
Additionally, in our science exams, they do have a practical component, so the students actually perform a lab, one part where they do an experiment, and then the other side of the room they have a microscope, and they look at slides and do things with those slides. So they have a multiple choice component, they have a written data analysis component, and then they have that practical lab. So students definitely get to use their strengths. So you may not necessarily get as many points as you had hoped on the data analysis, but you're great at the lab, so you have an opportunity to pass with the combination of all of the points.
And all of our AICE tests are at least 2 components. So it's not like you have just this one shot, like Ms. Hart was saying, if you're really good at one aspect of it and not the other, you have a chance to make up points to earn your passing grades.
And I think one of the big differences between AP and ACE would be the prevalence of multiple choice, where I think there's very few of the ACE exams actually have a multiple choice component.
Right. The sciences and then econ,
Yeah.
those are really the only ones
Just
that I
2.
can think of.
Everything else you have to produce work
Exactly.
of some kind.
And support your ideas.
And if you are, speaking of work, if you are a person who is good at presentations or good at a long-term project, many of the courses do have that component. Such as
Especially
global.
global. Yeah.
And teamwork, you can have a team project as well.
Yeah.
Also, they're very transparent. That's probably one of my favorite things. As soon as the exams are released and scored and we get the results, Cambridge immediately releases the examples of those tests from the previous series. So the students and the teachers can actually look at the test, not this guesswork on what's going to be on this test.
And that's actually what we do a lot in class. We'll look at past papers and we'll look at the syllabus and see what requirements we need on the test, and that's how we study, and that's how we get stronger with our work.
So I actually think that's the perfect segue into the next question, which is how can students best prepare for their ACE exams?
So during class time, of course, teachers will be giving us tasks correlating with the syllabus or past papers. But another thing we also do, even inside the classroom or outside the classroom, we make sure there's different study guides or different study habits that students will pick up. Me, for an example, I'm really heavy with my notes, and I love Cornell notes, for example. But different students that have different study habits, as long as they're able to make sure they go hard with them, especially with test season coming up, they'll be able to know okay, I'm gonna be okay for this exam. And you can make flashcards, you can do Quizlets, Kahoots are really, really good. But any type of study tool that's easy to help you along with classwork is really good.
And being present and being willing to participate and be involved in discussions, that's definitely key point, I think, in the preparation for the exams.
I think thing I always told my students was study enough not to be stressed, but don't overdo it. I think. What do you think about that, Talia?
Well,
But you might be the wrong person.
Yeah.
To ask that question.
No, I stress anyways and overthink, but it's okay. I'll get through it.
But alrighty, so the last thing, Ms. Dehart, this one would be for you, for our listeners who are taking exams, so they know the all-important question: when do results come out?
Results come out in August. It is usually the first week of school, around the 11th, 10th, 11th. I think the latest it's been is August 13th. I could probably give you an exact date, but that's a little bit of the anxiety part of the exams. You don't really know sometimes whether you have earned your AICE diploma. Some students are waiting on one more pass.
Especially our seniors until they've graduated, and then their results don't come back in until later.
Well, see, now for seniors that know they already have their diploma, like, do we get it in paper?
You don't get it in paper until August.
Yeah.
So you'll get something from us saying you've already earned it. Like during the award ceremony, you'll know and you'll get recognized then. But as far as the official, beautiful little watermark paper, yeah, you get that one in August.
Which is a distinction you can make as part of the ACE program. Not only do you get a diploma from Putnam County Schools in the state of Florida that you are a high school graduate, but you also get one from Cambridge International saying that you are a ACE diploma recipient.
Yes. August 10th is the exact answer to that. So
Okay.
So for
It'll
the
be
listeners that are
here
taking
before
the
you know it.
exam, just hold on. The results will come out. We will tell you. It won't be a secret. So before we sign off, does anyone have anything else to add or share with our listeners for today?
Oh, okay. Well, so this is interesting. I just finished writing up my little graduation speech and whatnot, and I had pulled in a quote at the end of it. It's actually my senior quote, and I really like it. And I feel like for those who listen to the podcast, if you need like a picker-upper, this is from the movie The Help, and it's from Miss Abilene Clark. She says this to the child that she's watching. You was smart, you was kind, and you was important. And you should always remember that, even in times like you may doubt yourself and whatnot, especially because I know school can get really stressful. But just always remember that.
All right, so the last question before I turn you all loose is, do you have any media recommendations for our listeners? Books, podcasts, TV shows, anything you'd recommend our listeners check out?
Adventure Time. It's really old, but watch it over again.
I've seen it. It's good. I don't have time to watch TV because all I do is coach and work.
Yeah.
I read, but
Fair enough.
Hoover, I like her. For some mindless entertainment.
So thank you all for being here. Listeners, if you like the podcast, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you can catch future episodes, and be sure to give QI Roberts Student Government a follow on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on future episodes and happening around QI. If you feel we've earned it, please rate and review us on your podcast player of choice and share with a friend. And if you see a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader in the next 6 to 8 weeks and they look down, it's just because they've been taking ACE exams. So thank you, Knights, and remember,
Thank you.
excellence in all endeavors.